If you want to build muscle, improve your performance, and actually feel good while your body composition changes, you may be missing the one thing that makes all of that possible without restricting yourself on a diet. In this video, I'm going to teach you my protein first method, which includes 3 steps to fuel your body for performance, build and preserve muscle, and create sustainable results that actually last. Now, when most people try to change their body composition, the approach is usually to cut calories, eat less food, restrict yourself. The entire concept revolves around taking things away. And that makes sense because you've probably been told that fat loss requires a calorie deficit. But when you do it that way, here's what actually happens. You feel hungry all the time. Your energy drops. Your performance in the gym suffers. You lose weight, but some of that weight is muscle. And so you get weaker, your metabolism slows down, and eventually you either give up or you have to eat even less just to maintain your progress. And that is a restriction mindset. It's focused on taking things away to see a number on the scale drop. My protein first method is the opposite. The way that I train my clients is through a mindset of abundance. It's about giving your body what it needs to perform at its best. And when you do that, fat loss happens as a byproduct without the suffering. Weight loss is not a healthy goal. Fat loss, while building and preserving muscle, is. And the biggest influence on fat loss is your muscle mass. The more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism, the more fat you burn at rest. The real issue with obesity in our country is not because people eat too much. It's because they're under-eating protein and they don't have enough muscle on their frame. When you prioritize protein and focus on building muscle, everything else falls into place. And so the 3 steps that you need to implement this strategy are very simple, and I'm going to walk through them with you one by one. Here they are. Step 1, how to calculate your protein target. Step 2, how to structure your meals to actually hit that target. And then step 3, how to execute every day so that you fuel performance, build muscle, and make sustainable long-term progress. Okay, so let's get into step 1. First, you have to calculate your daily protein target. And the formula is very simple. All you're going to do is eat roughly 1 gram of protein per pound of whatever your goal body weight is. Now, research shows that as low as 0.7 grams per pound works, but for my clients, I use 1 gram as an insurance policy because that gives me a buffer. And honestly, I've never actually seen anybody get fat from eating too much steak. So if your goal is to build muscle and perform better, having more protein is not going to hurt you. Now, there's one caveat to this. If you are significantly overweight, let's say more than 50 pounds from your goal weight, you're going to need to use your goal weight as that protein target instead. So if you're 300 pounds and your goal is 200, use 250 grams as your target. And then as you lose weight and move closer and closer to 200 pounds, that protein target is going to reduce with it. And so this is exactly why that protein target matters. Like I said earlier, protein is the building block of muscle. When you give your body adequate protein, it has what it needs to build and preserve muscle tissue. More muscle means higher metabolism, better strength, more energy, and improved performance in everything you do. Protein also has the highest thermic effect of all of the macronutrients, which means that your body is going to burn more calories just digesting it. And it's the most satiating macronutrient, which means it keeps you full for longer than carbs or fats. So what can you expect when you hit this target? Well, your strength is going to improve. Your recovery is going to get better. You're going to stay full for 3 to 4 hours between meals. Your energy will become stable throughout the day, and your body composition will change because you're building and preserving the muscle that drives your metabolism. Okay, so now that you know your target, you need to structure your meals so that you can actually hit that target every day. And I know for a lot of people, hitting your protein target every day can seem like a chore or even challenging. So the first thing that you want to do so that you can hit that target is plan your protein distribution ahead of time. Break your daily target across the meals and snacks that you plan on consuming throughout the day. Remember, if you're not planning, you're planning to fail. Most of the time, I structure my meals with 3 full meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then 2 high-protein snacks in between breakfast and lunch and in between lunch and dinner. So that gives me 5 opportunities to get my protein in each day. So if your target is 200 grams, that's about 40 grams at breakfast, 40 at lunch, 40 at dinner, and then 20 to 30 grams in your snacks. So the idea here would be to just aim for about 30 grams of protein per meal minimum. And this is very easy to do. Then all you have to do is just adjust those meals based upon your schedule. And here's why this matters. Studies actually show that muscle protein synthesis was about 25% greater when protein was distributed evenly across meals rather than concentrated at lunch and dinner. And research also indicates that 4 to 5 portions of protein each day, with portions of about 20 grams, optimize muscle building and recovery. So priority 1 is getting it in. Priority 2 is trying to optimize the timing. Now, practically, it's also a lot easier to consume your protein spread out versus in large amounts all at once. And when you plan it, you know exactly what you need to eat for each meal. There's no guessing involved. And when you do this, this is exactly what you can expect. Your meal planning becomes very simple. You can prep or choose restaurants based on the protein available. You can stay consistent because you have a clear target for every meal. And you'll actually hit your daily target, which means your body has what it needs to build muscle and perform. Okay, so now that you know how much and when, here's one tactical way to make sure that you execute this every single day. And this is why I call it the protein first method. The third step is eat your protein first for every meal. This is one application of the protein first method that ensures you'll always hit your target. Eat your protein source completely first. Then eat your vegetables, then eat your carbs. You don't need to wait 15 minutes between foods. Just eat in that sequence on your plate at your normal pace. And here's exactly why this works. This ensures that you hit your target even if you don't finish your meal. Because if you fill up on carbs first, you end up skipping the protein. And then you're going to come back an hour later hungry like you didn't eat at all. When you eat the protein first, you get what matters most for building muscle and fueling your performance. Plus, protein slows gastric emptying. It takes longer to digest, which slows the rate that food leaves your stomach. In fact, a 2015 study from Weill Cornell showed that eating protein and vegetables before your carbs reduced blood glucose by 29% at 30 minutes and 37% at 60 minutes compared to eating carbs first. Protein also stimulates GLP-1. This is the same hormone that drugs like Ozempic target. GLP-1 slows digestion, reduces hunger, and helps you control your insulin response. So this would be like the biological equivalent to taking Ozempic. So then when you combine protein with the fiber from your vegetables, those nutrients work together to slow gastric emptying, stabilize blood sugar, and extend satiety beyond what either achieves alone. Fiber and protein are the secret weapon to fat loss, and they're going to help slow down the digestion of the carbs that you eat, which also delays their absorption into your blood, preventing spikes in glucose after eating. This helps to manage cravings, and it makes it easier to get more manageable energy levels throughout the day, so you're not dealing with crashes. Okay, so if you apply this, it's going to be very easy to hit that daily protein target because the habit of protein first becomes automatic. You naturally eat less because protein fills you up before you get to the carbs, and your energy stays stable throughout the day. No blood sugar crashes, and your cravings drop within the first week because your blood sugar becomes stable and you're not constantly hungry. So those are the 3 mechanisms that I use to implement the protein first strategy, and it helps to ensure that you hit your protein target every day. Now, here's how to apply this starting today. First, calculate your daily protein target, 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight, unless your goal is greater than 50 pounds from where you are. Second, plan your protein distribution. How many meals are you going to eat? How many snacks are you going to eat? Divide that out and make sure that you've pre-planned how much protein you're going to consume during each meal. And then third, when you actually eat, Eat the protein on your plate first, then your vegetables, then your carbs. Only eat until you're satisfied. Don't eat until you feel completely full and bloated. Then what you're going to do is you're going to track your progress for 2 weeks. Weigh yourself daily at the same time, track your protein intake, and use your average weekly weight to measure progress. If you don't see progress, reduce your food intake by 10% until you do. Your energy levels will become more stable, and it's going to feel a lot less like you're on a diet. Notice how your strength improves, and pay attention to your energy levels. You're going to notice how your performance changes very quickly. One thing to point out as well is that when you start to disassociate from those cravings and that insulin high that most people ride every day, you're going to start to understand what it actually feels like to be hungry instead of having a craving. And after you stick to the strategy for about a week or so, your body's going to actually have that internal clock that tells you when it's time to eat, which is a really good thing. That means that things are starting to turn back on. When you're addicted to carbohydrates and you're under eating protein, most of the time your hunger is actually managed by cravings. And that poor relationship with food is exactly what causes weight gain. So last thing, just to recap on this approach. Most diets are about restriction. Take things away, eat less, white knuckle your way through hunger. That's exactly why they fail. And it doesn't matter what mechanism you use, what name you put on the diet, unless you understand and apply the concepts of nutrition and optimize for performance, you're going to consistently lose the same 20 pounds year after year. The protein first method is about performance and abundance. It's about giving your body what it needs to build muscle, perform at its best, and feel good first. And when you do that, fat loss happens as a byproduct. So look, if you'd like more practical knowledge on training, nutrition, supplementation, and hormone optimization using things like testosterone and peptides, I want to give you a quick invite to my Skool community. It's completely free, and I've put together an abundance of resources that you can use to help you reach your goals in a safe, healthy, and sustainable way. So if you want free access, all you have to do is tap the link in the description below, set up a free account, request access. We'll get you in there and get you the help that you need to make this change in your life permanent. I hope this video was helpful. And if you have any questions about the strategy or anything else related to training, nutrition, etc., drop them in the comments below. My goal is to help as many people as possible reach their goals in the safest way possible. God bless, and I'll see you on the next one.